Everyone's talking about which stadium has the best food in the NFL, so let's see how the Broncos and Empower Field hold up.
She is an influencer so popular in Denver, she gets recognized by total strangers.
Having another great breakfast sandwich in the arsenal is always a good thing.
All because of the things and places she eats.
Did you know this local market lets you start a tab?
Hailey Paez from the food blog Mile High and Hungry has hundreds of thousands of followers and is doing her part to help local restaurants stay afloat.
Can't stress enough that there's so many businesses on Colfax that deserve your business,
and introduce brand new foods to a ravenous audience ready to take a bite out of Denver's food scene.
You know there's a Caribbean place in Lodi?
Seems like the perfect person to have a Colorado conversation with. Hungry, just thinking about it. We've got a great conversation today on Colorado Conversations with Hailey Paez. You've got this blog that everybody is following. What is it, a couple 100,000 subscribers now?
Yeah, 200,000.
Pretty impressive.
It's really crazy.
It's very crazy. It's called Mile High and Hungry, and it is everything food in the Mile High City. In fact, let's watch a little clip right now.
This is Jesse and Kirsten, and together they take the beloved Uncrustable in a whole new direction with these burger bombs. They actually first got popular in the UK, known as UFO burgers, where a brioche bun gets toasted up and sealed inside, holding all sorts of savory flavors. If we're being so real though, I feel like this would be the ultimate munchies meal. Each bomb is packing, and think decadence at its finest degree, with items like nachos featuring jalapenos, cheese sauce, flaming hot Cheetos. They have Impossible Meat too for a vegetarian option. There's Philly cheese, buffalo, and barbecue inspirations, to name a few. Or if you want a sweet treat, they created their version of like a fried ice cream, but with the toasted brioche bun holding in that cold ice cream in the center. They pop up all around town. Check it out.
So there you have it. You get a sense of what it is that Hailey does here, and how, I'm just curious, how on earth does somebody get started, you know, basically making a career of talking about food?
It's pretty crazy. As a kid, I just grew up loving food because my family was from Mexico, so my grandma would come over on Sundays and make this huge feast for us, and it was just my dad, my sister, and my mom, and then my grandparents, so it was way too much food, but it was just basically her way of telling us how much she cared about us, and my dad realized I took a liking to it. I was obsessed with the Food Network, so I always wanted to be on the Food Network, so now I kind of feel like I'm my own Food Network, which is pretty cool. But
well, that's an interesting thought. I mean, is that sort of a next step, do you think? Do you anticipate maybe having a show on TV, or what do you think?
I don't know. I think that would be awesome. Like, I'm also a cake decorator, and I never saw like shows about how to decorate cakes, so like that was my dream back in the day. But I really think I've just become obsessed with social media, which is crazy to say as a kid who never was on YouTube or any of like the apps. Like, I have a personal Instagram that has 3 photos that are like 7 years apart from when I first got it when I was just a teenager. But I do love like the editing process and the visuals and just capturing everything. So everything you see on my page I create by myself, so I do all the editing, the writing, the voiceovers, going to these places, and that sounds like a lot now that I read it, now that I say it back.
It is a lot of work. So let's talk about how we got here. Okay, so you came to Denver from Chicago, where you grew up, came to go to school here. Tell us all about that.
Yeah, so after living in Chicago and then living in Florida, I went to go play soccer in college in Ohio. I just realized it wasn't a good fit. It was a pretty small town school, so I wanted another big city, and I'm a snowboarder as well, so the transition to Denver, my dad was like, why don't you look at and see if Denver has any soccer teams? So I transferred, played at DU, and then I would just take the light rail down to the city, and my dad and I, ever since I was little, we would send pictures of what we were eating to each other. So then my friends would always ask me like where to eat, what we should, where they should go when their parents come into town, or if they have a date. And so from there, it just kind of been like I was that resource. I wrote for my school newspaper about it, and then yeah, it just seemed like social media was like the next progression. But I was very, very timid about it because when I was in college, like, the influencers or people posting were more like fashion and things like that, and I was new. I was a new kid in school. I was like, I don't want to stand out. Like, I just want to do my thing. But I'm so happy that through college, I've been able to progress onto this path because I did not think I was going to do this entering college.
So you start the Instagram feed and the blog, and you just start talking about food, and I'm sure it's a slow build-up, right? At what point did you realize, wow, I'm starting to get a following here, there's some traction?
It's really interesting because you'll have 1 or 2 videos that a lot of people will then start following you, and it's a little like nerve-wracking and scary, but since doing this, I really do it for the enjoyment. Like, even if no one was watching, like, I love every part of the process. So it's just cool that people seem to enjoy all the hard work I do put into making the videos look really nice. And my favorite part, though, is like all the businesses after I go and they'll say, oh, we gained thousands of followers, or oh, we sold out before we ever had, and like we had no one coming to our restaurant. So I just know how important the restaurant industry is to me and to people and to culture and things like that, and it's such a way to express yourself and show more than just like it's something we need as food to survive. So I've worked in restaurants, bakeries, all of that, so to give to a community that I truly care about is really special.
It's interesting because we talked about this a little bit before we started rolling here, and that's this notion that Denver sort of had this reputation of not being a very good town when it comes to food. Anthony Bourdain came here, I think, back in the 90s or early 2000s and thought it was horrible. He's like, there's not a good place to eat in the Mile High City. That's changed, obviously, and do you think that Denver gets a bad rap when it comes to restaurants?
I do think it gets a bad rap, and I still have people in my comment section saying the food in Denver's bad, this and that, but I would just say you just don't know where to look.
Yeah.
Because for a long time it was like a meat and potatoes type of town, very steakhouse forward, but just like the people, it's very transient here in Denver, so there are people coming from all over. Like, I have friends that I've made through doing this that worked in Michelin star kitchens in New York, but they love Colorado, so they came here. So that's more talent coming in, and then people are just getting creative. Like, I know so many businesses that started in COVID, and they were not chefs, or they didn't have professional experience, but they just had time on their hands and wanted to be creative. So I think you just have to know where to look, and hopefully I can help you.
You feature all kinds of restaurants on the Instagram feed. We're talking about coffee shops and bakeries and breakfast burrito places. How do you find the places that you feature?
A lot of talking to different people in the industry. Like, I've gained so many friends from this as well, and they'll always give me recommendations. I have people reach out to me saying that they would love for me to try their food, and something about me is I'll try anything, because if someone made it and it's an expression of them, like, I think it deserves to be tried and shared. So yeah, I'll do my own due diligence, a lot of time on Google Maps, scrolling through social media, news feeds on new restaurant openings, and yeah, just word of mouth as well.
How do you handle it if you go to a place anticipating, saying all these glowing things about them, and then you realize, oh, this place wasn't very good?
So I actually have a pretty interesting take on that, because I think I wouldn't say I have the best taste in the world, because taste is subjective. Yeah. So I basically utilize my platform to tell people what's out there. So if you've been wanting to try a different type of cuisine or something of that nature, I'm just there to show it to you, and I'll definitely tell you what I did like, but just because I didn't like it or it wasn't my favorite thing, I don't think that should hinder someone from going. Of course, like, I'm not gonna encourage someone to go to somewhere where the food's undercooked, overcooked, and like not up to like a standard, but if it's just like a taste preference, I don't think I like own the best taste buds. So yeah, I definitely only show places that I love, and if something like that happened, like the food wasn't prepared correctly, then I just don't show it, because everyone has an off day. I might go try it again to see if there's a different outcome, but yeah, I just want to spread positivity, because the internet can be a scary, scary place.
I'm guessing you have a lot of restaurants reaching out to you and saying, hey, come to our place, we want our food shown, right?
Yeah, I do. I eat out very, very often, so I feel very blessed. I don't really have to go to the grocery store much anymore, but I do still love to cook and bake for myself.
I was going to ask about that, because I see you going ham on this food. Like, there's a lot of food. Yeah. How do you sort of keep it in line and make sure that you're not like, okay, I got to be careful here, my belt's not going to fit anymore?
Yeah, I've always really prioritized health and fitness, like just being a prior athlete, so I work out a crazy amount. And then I also like love to share. Like, I don't show everyone who's with me when I'm going out to eat, just because, like I said, social media can be kind of a scary place, and like I don't want to subject them to anything that they don't want to be subjected to. So, because I have people saying everything under the sun to me, I have pretty thick skin as an athlete and a competitor, so anyone can say whatever they want to me. But I just like to keep elements of my life private as well, because I feel like there are influencers where you know their family, their relationships, all things like that. And then there's content creators like me who just share passion. So I just want to be a resource. It's not about me, it's about the restaurant and the people creating this amazing community.
Well said. We are having a Colorado conversation with Hailey Paez from Mile High and Hungry. When we come back, I want to talk about the steps to becoming an influencer and also some of your favorite finds here in Denver. So we'll touch on that when we come back. We are having a Colorado conversation with Hailey Paez from Mile High and Hungry, the food blog that I'm obsessed with, that I see on Instagram all day long. It makes me salivate when I see some of the stuff. We've gone to some of the same places. I love Good Bread on East Colfax.
Oh my
It's
gosh,
fantastic.
I love Oliver. He's so sweet.
They're great. And every Saturday morning you'll see a line of about 20 people waiting to get into that place. But I'm curious, what have been your favorite restaurants, your biggest surprises, maybe places that you didn't expect to have something great that you were like, your socks were knocked off?
I would say one bakery that I love so much is Paulette Bake Shop, and it's a little bit of a drive, but something I always say is I'm willing to drive for good food. They've trained all over the world. They always update their menu with different types of croissants and pastries. Like, they have these big croissants that are stuffed with cream and everything, so it looks over the top, but they're so nuanced with their flavors that I love. Another one is Wuan Wonton over in Park Hill. Her just creativity and attention to detail with everything from the spice to heat and textures, I just think is amazing.
And what's that place in the Source where they make desserts that look like fruit?
Oh yeah, that's I'm about to butcher the name because I know Spanish, not French, but I think it's Fevco Chocolat, and he is a classically trained French pastry chef. And he makes just like the most stunning desserts and chocolates. And it's kind of funny the way I found that. I was just going to happy hour because my friend told me that Tamaki Den has a really good happy hour, and I love hand rolls. And I just walked in and I put my name down. They said it was going to be a couple minutes. And I was just looking around and I saw it and I said, oh, I want to go try that. So that happens to me a lot where I'll just see something and I want to go try it. It doesn't have to be like I'm asked to go or it's coordinated by a PR team. Like, I'm out there exploring myself, spending my own money to support local. So. Yeah,
and that's, as you said, like I saw one video where you were just driving down the street and you saw this place and like, oh, let's go try this out. So that is really how you find some of these joints, right?
Yeah, I think it's important to also just like keep your eyes open for what's new, something that's exciting, and if you really have a passion for something, it kind of like guides you to where to go.
I think a lot of people have this dream or this idea, it'd be great to be an influencer. I'd love to make a living creating content, doing that sort of thing. I know it's easier said than done, but you've actually succeeded at it. I mean, this is your job, right?
Yeah, it's my full-time job. I do consulting as well, so like help other people with social media. Like I said, I was an athlete, so I do have a passion for sports. So using my everything that I've learned from doing it with food, I'm also translating that to work with sports companies and brands to be able to talk about another passion I have.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, I know that you like to combine the two, food and sports, and so you went to Mile High and checked out some of their good food too. Right?
Yeah, that was awesome. I love stadium food because I loved going to the stadium with my dad as a kid, and we would always get like the hot dogs or nachos, but to see how food has just grown so much in like the sports avenue as well, I think is super exciting because I think people forget how ingrained food is in our lives. Like, it's celebrating birthdays with cake, it's when you're getting over a breakup, you eat a tub of ice cream. Like, it's for the good and the bad moments and everywhere in between. So having those moments with food alongside, I think, is really powerful. So yeah, I've been to the Bronco Stadium. They have like an underground like lounge for ticket holders. Same with Ball Arena. So I really love talking about like these really unique food experiences, and they're making high quality food and intermixed with another passion of mine, which is sports.
Well, and drilling down on the influencer thing again, too, what advice would you have for somebody who would love to follow in your footsteps and have success at something like this?
I would say do it because you're really passionate about it. Either you're passionate about like the video editing or the topic you're talking about, because I think people can tell that I actually do love food. Like, I didn't do this because I wanted it to be my full-time job. Mostly because a lot of people didn't have it as a full-time job, or I didn't see myself as someone that could make it into a full-time job. So I think if you have a passion for it and it's something that you can be really consistent with, then go for it.
You can't fake it. The people will know if you're not passionate about it, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think anyone has the capability to do it, because something I heard is there's 8 billion people in the world and we're all so different. But if there's 8 billion people in the world, you have to have some commonality. So like, even if you have something that's not as broad as food that you're passionate about, there's other people that you can connect with. And it's finding a platform that really caters and suits to you. Like, I know a lot of people love long form content on YouTube. I started written content because I was a journalist major on Substack. So even if it's you only see, or don't limit yourself to only one platform, and find one that like really gets you excited to do the work for it.
What was your job going to be if this had not worked out? What did you dream of doing when you were in college?
I wanted to be a lawyer. I studied, I took the LSAT, but I graduated early during COVID, and this was starting to pick up. So I was like, if I go to law school, I want to be there. I want to be in the school setting, because I did love learning. Like, I had a great time in college. So I said, I'll just take a break and I'll see kind of what I could do with this. And I haven't gone to law school.
That's a good thing. Was there a moment where you realized this is going to be my job? I'm going to make a career out of it?
I always had like multiple jobs, because like even in college, like I was an athlete, I was in a sorority, I was writing for the newspaper, so I always loved to do a lot of things. So it kind of was hard to be like, oh no, you can just do one thing and like that's good enough, especially like it's very non-traditional. Like my parents both worked in corporate America, so they don't really know what I do or how I make a living off of it, but they're very supportive, which I love. So I think it came more recently, like now I have a manager to handle some of my work because I'm inundated with emails and things like that. So I think once I started getting like more help, or even like being recognized, which was so scary the first time because I thought I did something wrong. But yeah, I think that I've been doing it full time for about a year now, and I wake up every day being really confused. Like I could wake up and I could get a call being like, "Where are you? You have to be at soccer practice." So
it's a pretty good life. I'm jealous. It seems pretty great. We're having a Colorado conversation with Hailey Paez from Mile High and Hungry, and we'll continue right after this.
Breakfast sandwich in town, so we're gonna try it. Having another great breakfast sandwich in the arsenal is always a good thing. Jacob, the chef and owner behind Yasha's, has been cooking since he was 14, and even though he's still in college, he's worked at Michelin-star kitchens in New York. Now he's back home in Colorado to revamp his favorite classic, the breakfast sandwich. Some of my favorite elements have to be that herb aioli with as much parsley, cilantro, and lemon as possible, this thin potato crisp that gives the breakfast sandwich the crunch we all need but rarely find, a homemade sausage patty that has a hefty serving of brown sugar just to make sure it caramelizes, but adding sage, garlic, and chili flakes for some depth. He'll be at Cherry Creek Farmers Market on Saturdays. Check it out.
Back now having a Colorado conversation with Hailey Paez from Mile High and Hungry, this Instagram feed that I'm obsessed with. I scroll through it every morning when I'm waking up, and it just makes me so hungry, and then I got to go try the places you've gone. I've done that a couple of times. I did want to talk about what you're doing to sort of help some Denver restaurants. You know, I noticed that you were posting a lot about Colfax restaurants, East Colfax, because that construction project has the street all torn up and their businesses are hurting.
Yeah, of course. I think it's also really important to go beyond like just downtown or more gentrified neighborhoods, because there is great food if you're willing to find it. And like I said, I've gotten to know so many people through the industry, and just seeing that like businesses are closing because of constructions and wages and everything going on just within our market and economy right now. If I can do anything to help, even have one more person stop in the door to enjoy some of what I think makes Denver really special and enjoy some treasures, I would love to do that. So,
what about 16th Street? You've been back down there since they reopened. What do you think?
Yeah, it's insane. I remember I used to come to Denver to go skiing when I was little, and everyone like was always on 16th Street, and then people just stopped going. And I feel like in so many cities, like there's like an epicenter of it. So to see that like life come back, and the opening weekend, just seeing so many people there, and some of my friends that I've met through the years of doing content were a part of like that rebrand and that reopening, which was super exciting. And I'm super proud of Fireside at 5 Gertie Harris, and Connor Holmes. They crushed it.
It's such a gem, and it's great to see people back down there. I love that too. You talked about the hard times that Colorado restaurants have gone through. Really, the whole industry. The past 5 years have been very rough. Have you heard from restaurant owners who've said to you, "You really helped me keep my doors open because of what you did"?
Yeah, that's probably the best message that I could receive, because just knowing that I can help a community that I care so much about, and having them say that they've sold out of all their products and like that's never happened before, or they were on the verge of closing and now they get to stay around because it's something I'm passionate about. But if you open up a restaurant, like that's all day, every day, like hard work. So to know that they can keep doing that and keep sharing their talents with other people, I think there's really nothing like it than supporting local.
Feels like you're making a difference, right? This
Yeah.
is a dream job, really.
I'm very blessed. I say that all the time. I still don't give myself any recognition for it. I have imposter syndrome, but that's the way I like it, because it's not about me, and I will say that till the end. It's about these businesses that make our community so special.
We all have imposter syndrome, so just so you know, we're all dealing with that same thing. What would you say, you talked about not deserving or needing recognition, but you do get recognition. What do you do when people actually come to you and say, "Hey, I know you from your blog"?
I just get really nervous. I start sweating. I say thank you so much. Like, it means the world to me, because I know that they follow me for these local businesses. So I feel like it's them saying, "Oh, like I follow you," but then they're also saying, like, I support the community. I want to know where to go in this community to keep it strong and keep us moving further and growing our food scene. So that's really what I hear and what I take in and what means the most to me.
Just a couple minutes left here. So to those fuddy-duds who still think Denver doesn't have any good restaurants, what would you say to them?
I would say you just don't know where to look.
And now we do know where to look. They can just go to Mile High and Hungry on Instagram. Where else can they find you?
On TikTok, on Substack, all the platforms.
Hailey Paez, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. I've had a pleasure.
It's been a great Colorado conversation.
Download Fox 31 Plus from your App Store.